Kim Hager here with RIHOP and Adrian Craig, the Associate Director of RIHOP, and Leah Mix, one of our main worship leaders, singer, musician peoples here at the House of Praise.
Hello.
This is our culture video where we just talk a little bit about some of the DNA of who we are at RIHOP as a community of singers, worshipers, musicians that are hosting God's presence in our city. And so today I wanted to share a little bit about why we do worship with prayer. We're called a house of prayer, but we don't simply just pray, right? Mm-hmm. Worship is a huge part of what we do. And I would say, and I want you all to give input on this, the why behind that is because Jesus is worthy. That's one of our anthem statements. The beauty and the worth of Jesus causes us to respond in such a way that if all we ever did was sing of his worth and host his presence through our worship, it would be valuable for all of eternity, right? And so we link worship with prayer because Jesus is worthy, but there's also an intimacy with him element of that. We're not just coming in to ask of God, but we're getting his heart and his mind and his emotions. Heard a teacher one time say that worshipers should become students of God's emotions. So that we get the heart of God, we get wrecked with his beauty and his worth so that we know what to pray. So what would you all say about the worship culture that we're building here in terms of why worship and prayer and not just prayer? You have anything you want to share on that? Adrian?
I mean, we have a culture here where we value the presence of God first and foremost. And so when we come in to worship and prayer, to worship and pray, what we're going after is the presence of God. We're seeking him. And we want to know what is on his mind, what's on his heart, what he's feeling that day. You could boil it all the way down to what song does he want to hear today, and then how can we agree with what Jesus is interceding for before the Father right now in this moment. And so
with what you're saying, it reminds me of a conversation we had with Leah. I loved this conversation. I feel like, Leah, you're someone, when we sit down and talk, the wisdom of God sometimes just comes out of your mouth. And we're we were sitting in a briefing for a worship set, and Leah began to exhort us to find the conversation. Can you share a little bit?
Yes, I'd love to. Yes, so it goes back to what you said at the beginning, and what Adrian so wonderfully expounded on was the heart is his presence at the center of it all, and his presence is his face. It's face to face. It's a conversation. It's communion. And one time someone told me that each time you meet in a group or one-on-one, there's an opportunity and a responsibility to find the conversation that only you can have in that moment. And that so deeply impacted me, just with connecting with people and individuals and groups, but also as I was thinking about it, I was thinking about what we do here, and I was like, it's the same thing, because a song is a conversation to the Lord. When we gather here in this room, we are speaking, we're seeking the Lord's heart, we're speaking to him, and to one another. In heaven, it's to God and to one another. They're communicating to each other who God is, and I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh, we rightly so should apply this to our culture here in the prayer room, that every time we gather in a room in a corporate dynamic, we have an opportunity to find the song, the conversation that is for that now moment. And it's an honor and a responsibility as those leading the room, worship leaders and singers and prayer leaders, to intentionally seek the Lord in that way, because He is a present God. The Bible teaches us to not worry about tomorrow. When Jesus teaches us how to pray, He only teaches us how to pray for today in this moment. And so obviously that's what we do every day. And so so finding that conversation, that song, for today, for this moment, every time we gather, and intentionally going together as a team, and everyone in the room is on the team, seeking the Lord and the song and the conversation with Him. And then out of the overflow, I feel like out of the intentionality, we've even been trying it out. The past couple of weeks, so many songs have been written.
Yes, there's been a fresh birthing of new songs that have come out of the conversation.
Yes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I was kind of that sparked something.
Yeah.
And we started talking about it and applying it in little ways around here. It's so fresh and it's so present and it's so now. It's just, there's such a grace to forget about the mistakes of yesterday and to not worry about what's coming tomorrow, but just to focus on right now and the song that the Lord would have us sing to Him, and to hear the song that He's singing to us. It's been really awesome.
So good.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing here, is we're seeking the heart, the mind, the will, the emotions of God Himself, and we're finding the conversation of heaven. If you'd like to get involved in the RIHOP prayer room, email us at prayerroom@mapsglobal.org. We would love to talk with you more about this whole worship culture that we're building.
Do it.